Good afternoon. Just going to give it 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen, then we will crack on. If you can turn your cameras on, that would be great. It just makes me feel as I'm not talking to myself. You just then put yourself on mute, just in case anyone starts singing in the background, Laura.
That wasn't me. That was a telly.
Oh, of course it was. You've got a beautiful voice. Beautiful voice.
Known perfect strangers. Look.
Oh. Well, in fact, why don't you just point the camera to the TV? Probably people might have more fun watching the TV rather than listen to me for the next 2 hours.
It's actually really good. I highly recommend it. It's got Nicole Kidman in it.
Then they turned my Bluetooth off. So now I can't even use my mouse. Talk about a disaster. Good, I didn't mess about with this on the other one. This is the important one.
Right, 1 more minute and then we'll get started. So if you want to just put yourself on mute and then you can unmute yourself if you have a question, a comment, a desire to leave, whatever.
That's it.
Okay, we'll make a start. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt Jeevers. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a growth advisor at Wenta. I will be your host with the most today. And hopefully what we're going to do today is talk you through some key tips for growing your business. And we've put this together. We put together 40 tips, which I know sounds like a lot, but it is our 40th birthday at Wenta this year. Is it this month, Karen, or just this year? Can't remember.
It's this year. It was earlier in the year, slightly earlier in the year.
So we decided to link in the fact that we've been going for 40 years and put together 40 tips aimed at people who are running a business and want to grow that business. So the purpose of today, you'll notice if you've been on webinars with us before, normally we have you all blacked out so that no one could be seen. Today we've changed the style up so that you can participate with this, you can ask questions. And the best way to do that is either to raise your hand and we will then come to you and get your question, hopefully answer it. Or if you want to put something in the chat, then we've got Karen and a few other people here from Wenta who will answer your questions in the chat and also be providing you with links as we go along to maybe book some time on some of our webinars or book one-to-one appointments with us as you go forward. This is being recorded, as you've noticed, so you are able to either watch this again if you're really desperate, or maybe there's some people that will be wanting to watch this another time. So we are recording it and you will get a copy of the recording and also a copy of the slides as well. The good news is there's only 40-ish of them. I'll do a bit of an introduction in a second in terms of Wenta, just for any of you that haven't dealt with this before. I'll just also give you a bit of my background because I will be presenting some of the tips as well, but I will introduce the rest of our panel who are here today to give you their expertise as well. There will also be a poll at the end. So the poll is just basically for you to give us a bit of feedback on the subjects that you found most useful and also provide comments if you want in the chat about any future events you'd like to see or future subjects that we may well be able to cover. I'm just going to I'm going to share my screen. That's what I'm going to do. So if someone could just confirm that they can see the slides, that would be great.
Yeah, we can see them.
Start, isn't it? Super. So just a little bit about Wenta before we crack on. So we do a number of things. If you haven't used this before, as I've said, that we have been going for 40 years, offering a range of different services. So the first part of what we do is that we have 4 office spaces in Hertfordshire, and we rent those office spaces out to small and medium-sized businesses. So effectively, we are a landlord, and what we do with the money from the rents from our buildings is that we plough that into our business advice team because we are a not-for-profit social enterprise. So we don't make a profit every month. Every penny we make gets ploughed back into our business. So if you're looking for office space and you're in the Hertfordshire in the Hertfordshire area, then please give us a shout and we'll fix you up with a beautiful little office, very, very cheap. very, very accommodating and all that. The main part of what we do is two parts to it, really, about giving business advice. So we have a series of webinars. We have about 40 or 50 webinars, some of which are presented by the team here at Wenta, others where we've got in-industry experts to provide those webinars. And you can go onto our website, do a quick search and find webinars on pretty much any subject that you need to be able to grow your business. On the other side of that, we have a team of 5 or 6 business advisors, growth advisors, supported by a wider team, and we provide one-to-one support for a range of people, not just in Hertfordshire, but also across the country and sometimes overseas as well. So with that, we have a focus on helping people to push forward. We have a focus on mentoring people. We have a focus on keeping people accountable, and also trying to introduce to people the whole agenda around net zero. So you're thinking about how your business can be sustainable and what you can do to use that to make yourself happy, but also to make your customers happy, because that's becoming more and more important on our customers' agenda. The great thing about all of this, some of you are on the call, I've certainly worked with, and maybe some of you have worked with other Wenta advisors, is that everything we do is free. So there's no catch, there's no sales process, there's nothing hidden, which in these days it seems to be pretty much anything we come across in life seems too good to be true. It often is. This is not one of those. It is completely free. And what we will do with you is try and give you honest, forthright advice about your business. So if you're interested in any of those services, there's a phone number there if you want to call us up, or you can go onto our website, make contact there, or there will be email addresses at the end of this session. Any questions so far? No, a couple of shaking heads. That's great. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll crack on. We should be running for about 2 hours today, but we'll try and keep it reasonably punchy. But as I said, if at any stage you want to interrupt and ask questions, then please do it, because otherwise it will just be me and some others talking. So you may not get the most out of it. We also have to recognise that we have some very important partners here in Hertfordshire that help us and support us to deliver our service. There's a few of those on the slide here. So Get Enterprising, Hertfordshire Local Enterprise Partnership, Visit Hearts, Stanta, and the Hertfordshire Growth Hub, which are represented here, and I will do an introduction to them later on today. Shall I just carry on and get straight into the good stuff? Yeah, I've got a thumbs up there. Okay, top tip number 40. We're going to start with that, and I am your presenter for this. A little bit of background about me. I spent 20 years or so in corporate life. I worked predominantly in the travel industry for a range of different companies. So started early in the early 2000s with a company that you may have heard of called lastminute.com. And I was responsible for running the holidays division there, which had a turnover of about £180 million. I then went on to a company that, if you recognize this, you're probably in the same sort of age bracket as me. I went on to become the managing director of a company called Teletext Holidays. Anyone remember Teletext Holidays? Yeah, booking holidays from your TV. How bizarre in this current world. So I was a managing director there, and I went on then to be the managing director of a number of different companies, including companies like Voyage Privé, which some of you may have heard of again, which is a kind of 5-star holidays business that offered heavy discounts. So general experience across a wide range of different areas, and hopefully some of that will come across today. If it doesn't, then what are we going to do? We're doomed. So we'll crack on with the first tip. So the first tip, number 40, is the Big 4 documents. So the reason why this is up here, and these tips are not particularly in order of importance as we go through them. So the Big 4 documents relate to if you, with your business, decide that you need to get some sort of funding. That funding comes in a good way and a bad way. The bad way is if you go to a bank and they lend you money, the only catch is you have to pay it back. Yeah. The other way, which is much more pleasant, is if you go out and get access to a grant. So the great thing about a grant is if you get access, you don't have to pay it back. The Big 4 documents you will need, because you have to go into this process with your eyes wide open, is that you need 4 key documents to be able to succeed in applying for either a loan to grow your business or a grant to grow your business. those 4 documents are, first of all, is that they will put in place a overly complicated application form. Yeah, that application form has to be considered in conjunction with their aims and what's important to them. So in the case of a loan, the most important thing in terms of a loan is that you have a good idea and you have the ability to pay it back. In terms of the grant, it may be what impact it's having on your local community, or something else that's connected with that grant. So first bit of advice, if they have an application form, read it, study it, look at their criteria to make sure you are hitting those points on their application form. So that's boring document number 1. Trust me, they are boring. Boring document number 2 is that they will want to have a profit and loss forecast, or actuals. So they will be looking for a profit and loss summary, which will cover 3 years. So in your cases, that may be that the first or second year are real figures. So you've been trading maybe for 1-2 years. So you will need to provide a P&L summary of that. And then if you've only got 2 years of trading, then they will want you to put together a P&L forecast for year 3 or maybe for year 2. Yeah, we can help with that. If you're struggling with that or haven't got any templates, we can provide those to you quite easily. Big document number 3 is a business plan. So I'm assuming that all of you have a business plan in place. Nodding, kind of. Yeah, you have, Laura, because I've done it with you. Yeah, so nodding along there, business plan. So if you've got a business plan and you may have done in the past, just making sure that's up to date, making sure it's relevant, that it's tweaked in accordance with what you are planning to do in the future, and making sure it covers off all the issues that you will need. The 4th and final document is a thing called a pitch deck. So this is really designed because not a lot of people will want to probably read through initially your 15-page business plan, even though you've put in a lot of effort with it. So this is where they will want something which is a bit more top level, generally PowerPoint presentation style or PDF. Again, I have a template if you want one, so we can provide that to you. If you want one, just put it in the chat and I'll send it over to you. Yeah, so the pitch deck is a top line summary of kind of more bullet point styles about your business and your plans for the future. So pitch deck, business plan, profit and loss account, and their application form. They're the big 4 documents you will need if you're intending to go for funding or grants. So if you haven't got any of those 4, get them done now so that if an opportunity comes up, you can react quickly. Excuse me. You can react quickly and not have to go back and do all this work against
Right, this is really pissing me off. I hope I can get this sorted out before the next course.
Language, Lucy. Oof. So they're the big 4 documents. Tip number 39. So that is find your inner salesperson. What that means is you don't have to go out and buy yourself a shiny suit and a file of facts. You can do it in a much simpler way than that. So often people talk about the relationship between marketing and sales. And we will talk a lot here with our conversations, our webinars, and our conversations with you one-to-one about marketing. And it's important, in my opinion, other people may differ, for you to understand where marketing starts, stops, and where sales starts and stops. So for me, marketing is about getting people to showcase an interest. So that may be them clicking on your website, that may be them filling in a contact us form, that may be them sending you an email. Once marketing has done its job and that customer has expressed some sort of interest in your business, whether it is a product or a service, that's when the sales process needs to kick in. Because the sales process is about taking someone who is interested, either heavily interested or remotely interested, and turning them into a paying customer. So the skills you need to be a good marketeer and the skills you need to be a good salespeople, there is some crossover between the 2 things, but you need to think about, okay, how can I sell things to people effectively? And it does tap into a whole different range of things sometimes. The biggest key skill about a sales process, the biggest skill you need, which is not something I've always got, as people who work with me will tell me and tell you, is the ability to listen to your customers. The temptation in sales is that we can often just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And we're hoping that something that we say will resonate with that customer and will have some sort of impact with that customer. They've said that they're already partially interested in your product. And sometimes, and this is an awful term, I apologize for it, but it has to be said. Sometimes we go and do the product vomit. The product vomit is where a customer is interested, and what we try and do is we go blah, and we try and tell them everything about that product. We tell them about what we can do, what we can't do, how much it's going to cost, the benefits of it, the features of it. And actually, the first skill you need as a good salesperson is the ability to be able to listen to what your customer wants and make sure that you are therefore then presenting an offer to them, which fits with their requirements. And the only way you can do that is listening. Sometimes that is listening face to face. Sometimes that is listening in terms of reading their email, their forms, and understanding what they're going to do. But also, as my colleague will talk you through later on, listening is also part of looking at what they're doing on your website. So making sure you have the right analytics to see what they're doing and making some assumptions about them. So if you are that sort of person that thinks I can't stand sales, I hate sales, then I would urge you to try and train yourself and to pick up some skills that will allow you to become a better listener and be better at presenting your offer in the right way. And also probably the last thing is being able to overcome their objections. So a little bit of work to do if you don't like sales. Anyone can be a good salesperson if you get the right training and you have the right structure to your process. And there will be things coming up later on that will help you with that process as well. So no shiny suit needed, no file of facts needed. That's one for the kids, eh? It's just about actually thinking about how you like to be sold to and developing some of your skills to have the confidence to sell your products or services in the right way. Top tip number 38, build a sales pipeline. So this is one of the things that can back up your sales skills. If anyone's using a sales pipeline at the moment, stick it in the chat. I'd be interested to see whether anyone is. So a sales pipeline is a way in which you're tracking where people are in your process. This is particularly relevant if you are selling B2B, so business to business, or you are selling a service.
Hello?
So if you are selling
it's not a conference call at the moment. No. I'm just on a training thing. That's right.
Typing. So a sales pipeline is a document, which you can do in a couple of different ways, which is recording, everyone that has expressed an interest in your product or service, and you're allocating them a stage of that process. Normally there's about 5 or 6 stages, from initial interest through to them buying something. But to have a sales pipeline to track where these people are is incredibly important when you go back and revisit it. I'm sure I won't be alone sometimes. I've worked in sales before, but even with your businesses now, where you're struggling to understand what's coming next, you're struggling to understand what you're going to do next. And it takes you a little bit of time then to sit there and go, right, I need to chase this person, I need to speak to this person. By having a sales pipeline that sits beneath your business and tracks all of your marketing and sales activity, you will be able to understand where you need to go and who you need to speak to get those people over that line. The other advantage of a sales pipeline, and given the name pipeline, is that your pipeline will have leaks. And those leaks will become apparent if you record and measure who's in your pipeline and what stage they're at. So, for example, it could be that you are dropping people into your sales pipeline at that first initial stage of interest. And it may be that you're losing people when you're sending your prices over. It may be that you are losing people when you are sending over your proposals. It may be that you are not chasing people, or there's people there that need to be chased in terms of selling the service. So what we have with the sales pipeline, we can record where people are dropping off. So if it's to do with our proposals and our pricing, then maybe we can go back and look at that issue and then decide whether we need to adjust our prices, whether we need to offer people some sort of incentive, or we need to make it clearer to that person as to what they're buying and the price they're paying for. So it sounds a bit boring, a bit dull to be recording this stuff, but it will give you up to the minute progress in terms of where you are, so that you can really understand what's coming next in your business and where the money's going to be coming in. Also look for the opportunities where things aren't going correctly, so you can go back and correct some of these processes that you have. Again, if you need a template for a sales pipeline, then I can provide one to you. So just put that requirement in the chat and we'll track it. A sales pipeline can be built on a basic bit of software like Excel, but also you can look at tools like HubSpot and other CRM tools where you can actually track your customer's activity in a piece of software so that you can get information at a fingertip whenever you might need it. So that's top tip 38. Top tip 37 is understand your customer. So understanding your customer is thinking more about their behavior and thinking about why they do certain things. And there are 4 different key types of customer behavior and consumer behavior that you might want to be aware of and decide where your product or service fits into that. So the first type of customer behavior is habitual type customer behavior. So what that means is you have customers who are buying the same things in the same way over and over again. I'm sure that all of us do the same when we pop to Asda, Tesco's, Aldi or Lidl at a weekend. And when we look at our basket at the end of it, we recognize that maybe 80% of what we're buying is the same every single week. Does anyone else have that? Or is that just boring old me that just buys the same things over and over again? So that's what we call, when we're looking at customer behavior, we're calling that habitual behavior. The good news and the bad news for you is that unless you have something fundamentally different to your competition, then often your competition will keep on getting that customer coming back time and time again. So in order to be able to steal that customer, we have to give them something different to change the habits of that customer. The second type of customer behavior is variety seeking. So these are probably the most annoying types of customers, if I'm honest. That these are people that will go out and try new things or new variations of a product or a service, not for any reason as in they are not happy with the service or product they've got, but they just want something different every single time. So the problem with that is if you are selling to those types of customers, yeah, you may be losing those customers and thinking, is it something I've done wrong? And the reality is it's nothing you've done wrong at all. The people you are selling to are just looking for that variety of product or variety of service every single time. As I said, a very, very frustrating type of customer, and I'm sure you could probably think of examples of sectors where those customers may well exist. The third type of customer behavior is dissonance reducing. So this is where a customer will be looking into the marketplace for one of their needs and they want to buy something, but despite them being quite involved in the buying process, they can't really see a difference between the products that are being presented to them. So they're looking around and they're looking for choice, but when they're looking at what's on offer in the marketplace, they're just seeing everything just looks the same. So again, the opportunity for a business owner, and especially a small business owner in that field, is that if we know that we have a large group of customers who are in this dissonance type period, where they want to do something, they want to be investing in it, but they can't see why product A is better than product B, then that's an opportunity for a business owner to actually do something different with their products. And I think one of the very simple things you can do with your products, which I see is a mistake with many, many small businesses and larger businesses, is that when you talk about your products and services, you talk about the features of those products and the features of those services, but you don't talk about the benefits. So it's a real good opportunity to look back at maybe some of the marketing you've done so far, look back at your website and say, right, okay, I'm explaining what the customer's going to get, but am I explaining well enough what that benefit is going to bring to that customer and why they should buy my product? So a very important tool, a very important tip there in terms of looking at the distance customers and making yourself stand out. And then the fourth group is the complex behavior or the complex customer behavior. So this is where they are incredibly invested in something they're buying. It's generally a high purchase or a high ticket item, and they have loads and loads of questions, and they want to get into the complexities about what they're doing. So with those four types of customers, and there's other factors that you can look at as well. Again, another shameless plug, we do a presentation, a webinar on customer behavior. I think it's coming up next week or the week after. Then put your name in the chat and we can get you on that, and I can tell you more about that and how you can fit in. So The point of this is if you try and understand your customer and understand why they're doing certain things, then you can change and react to that customer, and that will be better for you in the long run, and you will gain more business out of it. Tip number 36 is consultative selling. I'm not sure whether you've heard of consultative selling before, but it's very, very important. I don't need to labor this point too much because whenever I think of consultative selling, I think of my mum. Yeah, she'll be so pleased she got a name check today. My mum used to, I think she still says it to me now, actually. My mum used to say to me, you've got 2 of these and 1 of these for a reason. In other words, what she was saying to me is stop talking and listen to people. So if you are selling a product which is complex, or a product that involves a service or something to do with that individual, the way in which you should be doing it is in a consultative selling message. And the 2 ways that are underpinning consultative selling is that, 1, you listen, yeah, and you're listening to what they are saying, but also sometimes listening to, I was going to say listening to what they're not saying, but that's not possible, is it, if they don't say it. But trying to gauge from that customer, right, they're saying this, I'm listening to that, but what are they not saying? What are they not talking about, to see whether that can give you some clues. The way in which you do that is that you ask open questions. So you get them talking, and if you've come out of a sales appointment with someone, if they've done 85% of the talking and you've done 15% of the talking, you know you've cracked consultative selling. The more complex the product, the more expensive the product, the more in which you have to do this consultative sell, rather than just shouting about what you do and hoping someone will gauge some interest from that. So any questions about those tips? Please put them on the chat. I can't see the chat at the moment, but I'm sure Karen will tell me if there's any questions on there, Karen, or is everyone just being quiet?
Will do.
Okay, so that's good. No questions on that. Cool. So that's enough of my voice. I'm going to hand you over to our next speaker now for tip number, if I can get my mouse to work, tip number 35. And I'm going to hand you over to my colleague, Carol. Let me just tell you a little bit about Carol and her background. So Carol is a former principal and has spent 25 years in further education. She owned her own training academy and worked with government and private contractors to deliver science-based courses. And she's also owned 3 successful businesses in the past, and her main expertise is in online marketing, coaching, creating educational courses and presentations. So welcome, Carol. Carol, will you talk us through about showcasing the benefits of your products or services? Karen, is Carol here?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. So
I'm just checking you here. I'm thinking I've got to talk about showcasing benefits.
I am all here. Yeah. So thank you so much, Matt. Okay. So showcase the benefits. There's an old saying that says features tells and benefits sells. And, you know, one of the things that I've noticed, you know, from talking to quite a lot of clients, they don't always understand the difference between the two. And, you know, understanding the difference is key, because when you know what the benefits is of whatever it is that you're selling, then you know exactly how to position what you want to say. So, you know, it's not the characteristics that people are interested in, it's what can it do for me. Unfortunately, we have, you know, lots of people right now out there in social media land, and, you know, both online and offline, people are really in what they want to buy for themselves. So it's all about, can this thing work for me? Can it help me to get the results that I want? And if it can, I want to know how it can. That's what people are very much interested into. So a good place to always start whenever you are promoting your products or services is to speak to where that client wants to get to. Speak to the results that they want. Because your ideal clients know what they want. They're not confused about what they want, you know, but you've just got to position whatever it is that you're selling to speak to that results. So what do I mean by that? Well, let me give you an example. Let me use the weight loss experience for an example. Let's just say you've got someone who wants to lose weight. You know, when you're selling whatever it is that you're selling, you're speaking to where they want to get to. So you're going to be speaking to how they're going to feel after they've lost the weight, what they're going to look like, how much more energy they're going to have, how much more stamina they're going to have. They're going to have better sleep. You know, they're going to become more sociable and all of these great things. So this is what clients want to know. So, you know, that's one of my tips that I want to give you today. Speak to the results of what your clients want to achieve in, you know, when you're talking about the benefits, and be clear with what those benefits are so that those clients understand exactly what it is that they can get from you. You know, clients want you to help them to achieve a result, whatever that result is. It could be something that's life transforming, or it could be something as simple as, you know, helping them to identifying what kind of tools they can use in their garden if they want to do gardening. So it's as simple as that. It's just making sure that you sell those benefits in a way where it doesn't feel like you're selling. I like to use the word that, you know, the phrase where I say you serve with ease, but you sell with grace. And meaning that, you know, you're kind of selling without selling. They don't want to feel like they're being sold to, but yet you are. And this is why you need to understand the differences between the features and the benefits, and knowing the impact that the benefits can have on helping your ideal clients to move forward onto the next stage, which would be, you know, what Matt would be doing with the sales. So that's that part on there.
Great stuff. Thank you, Carol. Top tip number 34, scheduling tools in relation to marketing.
Yes, so scheduling tools, there's so many out there on the market today. And one of the great things with these kind of tools is they help you to save time, they help you to get organized, and they help you to become more productive. So it's worth using a scheduling tool in your business from very early on. And even if you've got your business now and you've not got tools in place, you can start right now. So there's lots of free tools out there that you can find. There's so many. It's just a matter of you doing some research. We've also got links to lots of free tools as well. I'm sure Karen will be able to help you with those. So there's so much on the market, and you know, you've got tools that are going to help you not only to schedule content that you can put online, but there's also tools as well that can help clients and help you to schedule what you need to do offline as well. So it's just a matter of doing your research, looking out for those tools, you know, and there's lots of different links that you can get. You know, and you can also, if you want to try out a lot of these tools, they are out there. You can try them for free and, you know, decide whether or not you want to move forward with that. So, you know, there's different links for different tools, and it's a matter of you finding the right one that is right for your business.
Yeah, thank you, Gavin. Just to add to that as well, you know, and it will be picked up later by one of our colleagues, but it really helps with the measuring of stuff and the effectiveness of stuff, because a lot of these tools can also guide you in what times of day is best for you to market your business on social media as well. So certain platforms have certain peaks at different times. So scheduling tools can have, you know, not only make your life easier, but also make your marketing more effective. Thank you. 33, the 7 P's of marketing. If anyone knows what the 7 P's of marketing, I'll put it in the chat. You get an extra Brucey bonus point for doing that.
Well, I was actually going to outline what the 7 P's are. Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, you do that. Yeah, I was testing everyone else, Carol. I know you know it. Yeah.
Okay, so the 7 P's are product. If anybody wants to tell me what the second one is, you can do. Anybody? Is it in the chat? Go for it then, if you want to go for it.
Someone said people.
People. There's also price. There's the place. Anything else? Right, so there's the process, and then there's the physical evidence. So that's your 7 P's, and this should be always built into your marketing plan. You know, you've also got just to talk about 7 P's as in addition to, you've got the 4 P's and the 5 P's as well, you know, but the 7 P's is more comprehensive, and it makes more sense to apply that to your marketing plan. It's going to help you really to develop that competitive advantage. That's what you want. A lot of people today are very worried about their competitors. And I always say, don't worry about your competitors. Keep one little eye on what's going on, but don't focus fully on them, because you need to focus on what you know, producing income for your business. So, you know, but it gives you that competitive edge, that competitive advantage that you're looking for. And, you know, it helps you to market the right products at the right price to the right people in the right place. So it puts things in the right perspective. So it's always a great framework for you to have built into your marketing plan. A lot of companies tend to use it, and they, you know, it's mainly there really to help you to review and define if there's any key issues that's going to affect anything to do with your marketing. So you need to be versed with how to use this framework and to be able to help you to achieve a very successful marketing campaign. And, you know, if you find that once you've ended the campaign, you know, and it doesn't yield the kind of results that you're looking for, it's a good idea to go back, check, evaluate, look at what went right, look at what went wrong, look at, you know, did you have the right price point that was adding the right value to the right people? There's lots of ways of how you can assess, you know, and evaluate to see where and how you can use, you can move forward. Because if one piece out of alignment, it's going to have an impact on all the others. So, you know, it's very easy to adjust as your campaign's going through, or if it's something that you're going to wait until is finished, then you can always go back and evaluate and have a look and see what's gone right and what's gone wrong.
Excellent. As a wise man once said, Carol, give peas a chance.
There's so many of them.
32, PR, generate your news.
So, earlier on, I'd spoken about, you know, creating a story that has a hook. But I think one of the good things with PR is you can find something as a business owner that's going on within your community and get yourself behind that. People will, you know, feel really good about any assistance or any help that is out there that they can get. So if you're a local business person and, you know, you want your business to grow, get behind something that's going on within the community, get involved with it and, you know, add value to it. And when you do that, whatever that might look like to you, you know, that's where it's easier for you now to say, to speak to the press and say, you know, I own this business, I'm going down to the local, wherever it is that you're going, the hospital, you know, the drop-in centre, whatever it is, and I'm going to be doing this, I'm getting behind this initiative. Those are the kind of stories that local media like. They want to see people getting involved. Christmas is coming up. There's a lot that you can start getting creative about, a lot of things that you can start doing to help to support maybe some of the vulnerable groups within the local communities. That could probably help to support, you know, to help you to get some PR for your business. So that's just a couple of tips I wanted to deliver on that one.
Great stuff. Thank you. Tip number 31, link to events. Again, a marketing subject.
So the links to events, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking to myself, you need a marketing plan in place. You cannot have a business and not market that business. It just won't work, because marketing is the heartbeat of every business. Now, we all know that there's different types of marketing that you can do out there. There's just so many, but you've got to find what the right one is for your business. And if that's something that you're looking for, then, you know, don't hesitate to book an appointment with us so that we can go through and create and help you to create a plan for yourself. But a good thing to do to identify what kind of strategies you're going to put in place is to write up a list. Make a list of different marketing strategies that you believe is going to help to move that needle on your business, that you know that it's going to be good for your business. It's the kind of strategies that you know that your clients are going to benefit from, and it will work in your business. You know, the next thing that you can do is to help to create an outline for those activities. So creating that plan itself, you know, it's going to help you to be able to market to your potential ideal clients, maybe on a weekly or a monthly basis. And it's when you have that plan in place, then you have that roadmap. You can see where you're going. Now, there are lots of different tools out there that you can use that can help you to organize the plan, the strategies that you want to put in place. You know, you've got Google Calendar. You can also do your event planning on Facebook if your clients are there. There's so many different platforms that you can use to be able to help you. You know, that's going to collate and put that plan together. So, you know, but the idea really is to come up with a marketing plan, come up with a way of how you want to link that out so that your ideal clients can get to benefit from that, you know. And once you've got that in place, then you can decide, how long do I want to run this for? What do I want to do in terms of the campaign? Decide how you're going to seed your offer, and then what you plan to sell in the end, because that's the whole point of putting the marketing plan together. It's with the intention to eventually sell something at the end. So, you know, that plan itself, you know, you will have lots of different tools that you can use. So if you want to link your events out, if you're going to plan an event and you want to link that out to a particular platform, Facebook will, you know, allow you to do that and do it really, really well. You know, so you can create a Facebook event. You can even do it from your news feed. They've made it that simple and that easy. You know, you can also do it on LinkedIn as well. And you can share that link with your target audience. And that link as well, what Facebook does, this is another feature of Facebook, and another benefit, I should say, is that they actually allow you to book that on Google Calendar, and they will do it for you. So, you know, that's another good thing to note. So, you know, people's lives are very, very busy. So it's really good to have something that's linked out to a calendar that, you know, can give that your ideal client the reminders that you're going to be holding a particular event.
Great stuff. Thank you, Carol. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to tip number 30 now. For tip number 30 and a few more, God, have we got a surprise for you. Now, this guy is so good. Yeah, we don't let him speak to people very often, because whenever he speaks to people, we are just mobbed in terms of people wanting his time and wanting his webinars and wanting his one-to-one. So I'm going to hand over to Boops, the famous Boops, who will talk you through the measurement of everything.
You're such a flatterer, aren't you, mate?
You paid me a tenner to say that, Boops, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I want it back now because you didn't do the full spiel.
Welcome, Boops.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming on today. So point 30, measure everything. So maybe you've started your business, maybe you've had your cash flows done, you've projected some sales, and you're looking at, you know, what your sales figures are going to be and so on. Every single business that goes out there, any product or service that you're going to sell, you need to obviously measure that. Hopefully, one, you're in line with your cash flow if it's been a realistic sort of measurement that you're doing. Remember, it's a forecast that you've done on the cash flow. So hopefully you're in par with what that is, because when you do the cash flow, I'm going to go sideline a little bit. You're going to understand what your overheads are. Okay, if you know what your overheads are, you know that you need to hit a certain point in sales to make sure that you're covering all of your overheads and you've got some money left over. So this is where measuring everything comes in. You may well be doing a lot of marketing. As my colleague said, you know, Carol said, you know, Facebook, Instagrams, you know, social media is viral nowadays. That's where everyone goes to basically advertise their business. You may even go leaflets, you may go local advertising, whichever way you want to do kind of stuff, but you need to measure everything that comes in. Sales, especially when they start recurring, coming in, you need to understand where they're coming from. You may sometimes have probably seen websites, or even when you've rung up a company and basically wanted to order something, they'll ask you, where have you got our number from? Where did you see us? Their websites will show all that as well. They want to make sure that basically the marketing that they're doing is working for them. They're putting the money in the right place. Okay, and this is what you need to do. You'll start off advertising on social media, like I said, local marketing, leaflets, whichever way you kind of go, you need to understand that is working for you, because what will happen is that that's going to turn into sales, meaning profitability to you at the end of the day for your business, and making sure that you're not wasting any of your money that's coming in. That's the most important part. A lot of people carry on and putting money after this, that, and the other because somebody's told them it's good for them. But different businesses work in different ways, and your ads, everything like that, all your promotional will work in different ways. And it'll be storytelling that you need to do, like some of the things like Carol sort of touched on as well. So measure everything as much as possible. It also goes down to your service levels, or where you can trigger these points of maybe discounts or promoting, etc., for return customers, maybe friends and family discounts. Again, that can be another point for you guys to understand of if that's going to bring in any more sales for you. So a lot of things that you've got to keep an eye on, making sure that the advertising and the marketing that you're doing is working spot on. If something doesn't work, try it for a little bit longer. If it's really flatlining, then basically, obviously, just move away from it and obviously try something else. You will find, obviously, your points of what's going to work and what isn't over a matter of time. But you have to carry on, obviously, looking at this. Again, things like Google ads come into play, Bing ads come into play, all of these electronic kind of ads that you're going to be placing, you still need to measure them. It's not basically a thing that you put money into it and it's going to guarantee some sales for you. If it doesn't work, you're going to have to alter or change your technique to make sure it works. And that's simply from everything from making sure your website works for you, SEO, making sure your social media works for you, any paid ads you do, making all of those things work for you and measuring it to make sure it comes through. A lot of social media, such as Facebook, they've got insights in there. Check those out. Keep an eye on those all the time, because it will tell you if your ads are working or they're not working and what's making you money at the end of the day.
Thank you, Boops. Okay, we'll move on to tip number 29. Canva is your best friend, Boops.
It certainly is. For those of you, I don't know if any of you guys, well, there's too many on there kind of stuff, but I always ask people, has anybody heard of Canva? Canva is a free platform. It does have a premium level as well, where you can subscribe to. I think it's about $10.99 at the present moment for the professional level, but you can obviously register yourself and use it freely. I've been using it for well over 10, 15 years. It started off basically giving you templates. Okay, so it gives you a template for Facebook posts, cover pages, profile pages, Instagram posts, and the list goes on, even WhatsApp messages. Anything that you want a template for, literally, it will provide it for you. It will give you tips on how to create them, so you can actually overlay photos, images, or anything that you put up on there. You can use your own images and upload them. Ideally, the way I used to use it is for obviously social media purposes at that time. So you upload a beautiful image. You can change the colors, warm it up a little bit, because when we take our pictures with our beautiful sort of iPhones and Android phones, they're a little bit flat, no color, no life in them kind of stuff. And this can really give you like sort of depth on them. You can attach your logos to them for your branding, so people understand where they're coming from. As soon as they see the picture, you start building up your branding on all your posts and so on. Makes you look a little bit different, well, probably a whole lot different than your competition does. And that's what you want to do. You want your ads to look totally different, so that you're outstanding basically the competition out there. Use Canva. It's got loads of other features on there. You can literally create a website on there as well. You can schedule your social media from there as well, connect your social media accounts, and you can upload all of your posts basically directly straight to there. So nothing to download. It can make brochures for you. It can do the whole lot for you, even logos and so on. So use Canva. It's a real game changer for your business. And if you use it correctly, like I said, they've got loads of other new features on there now, magic erasers, background removers, all of these things are coming into play. And they've actually taken on AI now as well. So if you use their AI facility, it will basically change your ads for you as well, kind of stuff. So have a go at Canva.
Great tool. Thanks, Bob. Oops. Yeah, it's a really good tool. I use it a lot myself. So it's takes a little bit of getting used to, but not a great deal compared to most of the platforms. So yeah, great advice.
We just had a question coming on that, and they've said, is it possible to add logos to TikToks? So I think, is that using Canva? Or
You should be able to, yeah. If you basically upload your logos, preferably removing the background, so there's no background to it. So when you put it up, it basically blends in, and obviously do some logos in different sort of colors as well, because each post that you might put on, the logo might blend in. So you should be able to do that. I've not had a play with TikTok, but I think there is a TikTok template on there, and you should be able to basically do that quite quickly.
Excellent. Thank you. Tip number 28, books. Very, very topical at the moment.
Bad economy.
Does a bad economy equal bad sales?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, at the end of the moment, let's have a little chat about this. So, bad economy and bad sales. I think UK's had its sort of quite a few number of bad sort of years or year as such since obviously COVID happened. But what do? You've got a business, okay? Hopefully your business is being pretty good. But a lot of people do get down on basically the economy. They see the news, they read the news, they listen to it, and thinking, "Oh my God, my business is doomed." It's not doomed. Never think of any business as doomed. I myself, being in the travel industry, such as with Matt as well, and we've had our fair share of doom since 9/11, believe me or not. But everything comes in. What you have to do is going point back to measuring everything as well. You need to understand where your sales are coming in and what it's doing. There will be peaks, there will be troughs, and there might be even longer troughs than usual. But when those peaks come in, you've got to take advantage of it. But also another tip that you probably want to take on is that you've got your core business, but also try and look at supplement that with another sales revenue that comes in. So maybe pushing away to something different, but also complements the business as well. The more sales revenues that you sort of open up in your business, if one is not doing too well, then the other one is still bringing the money in, and the third one, etc., and the fourth one. That's what you got to basically think about. Build and grow your business in that way. If you stagnate in one sort of sales line or something like that, then yes, there may be issues when bad economy happens, etc. But obviously, if you sideline that, get something else to complement it, then you've still got sales coming in when the other sales are down, and vice versa. And when all the sales are doing well, then happy days. You're going to the bank with lots of bags.
Yeah, I think I just add a little bit to that, and sometimes running your own business, well, not sometimes, often it's very lonely. And you can therefore struggle a little bit at times in terms of confidence, and struggle that if things aren't going particularly well in terms of your marketing, that you kind of get a little bit down on yourself and down on your business. If you throw in bad news story after bad news story, which is all there seems to be across the mainstream media at the moment, it can almost give you a little bit of an excuse not to be trying new things, because you think, what's the point? Because no one's going to do it because of the economy, cost of living crisis, whatever it may be. So it's just, as Butts was saying, trying to look at what you are doing and thinking, right, where are the opportunities and where do they still exist? Because I don't know if anyone else is like me, but when I walk into the town where I live on a Saturday, and there seems to be about 37,000 coffee shops where I live, yeah, every single one of them is bustling. Every single one of them is busy. So the talk is that no one's got any money. Well, some people clearly have. So it's looking for those opportunities to tap into that and not getting sucked into the bad news cycle. Topically, number 27, books, look after the pennies. How can you save people some money who are on this call?
Right. So here at Wenta, if you've had a chance to have a look at our website, wenta.co.uk, click on the savings tab at the top there. Basically, we've partnered up with lots and lots of different businesses to bring you discounted offers free services or just a point in the right direction. So if you have had a look, or if you do have a look at this, the savings tab, we've partnered up, like I said, with lots of different types of businesses to help you. Or maybe it's established businesses, or you're starting off. So we've got everything from there, from sort of insurance agents. We've got Simply Business, one of the largest insurance guys on there, providing sort of tailor-made quotes for your businesses, whatever you have, etc. Hopefully they can help. We've got specialist insurance providers as well. So if you're in a partnership or anything like that, you need to look into these partnership insurances, because what happens when you've got 2 partners or 3 partners in a business and something happens to one of the partners? What happens then? You certainly don't want the other half coming in and calling the shots when they have no idea what the business is going to do. So you need to probably pay them off and offload them. But there's insurances available for partners like that as well. We've got Tide the Bank, who's giving Wenta clients £50 off when you open an account and put some money into it as well. We've got Toolkit website, basically creating bespoke websites, okay, from small to large websites, whatever you require. But they bespoke it, they're not templated either, guys. So have a look at that. They're giving around about £500 off. Tax Assist, everyone loves doing their accounting, or they hate it, one or the other. I know my colleague Michael loves his figures, but there we go. But Tax Assist is there, Tax Scouts are there. They're giving free consultations and 10% discounts as well. So if you don't want to do any of your self-assessment or anything like that, Tax Scouts will help you, happy to assist you. And Tax Assist, obviously, the franchises up and down the country that can help you, their accountants, so they can look after all your accounting stuff as well. Like I said, again, it's more specialist people on there. We got Google Workspace there, offering 10% discount when you tie up with them as well. We have National Business Register, brand new company. Well, not a brand new company, but new business to us. Basically, we've just taken on, protecting your IP, intellectual, and protecting your business company name as well. So they just recently come on. They're offering 10% discount to Wenta clients as well, guys. So do have a look out for them. They're pretty good as well. They've been around for years and years, but they're brand new to us, like I said. Dell offering 20% off to Wenta clients on top of any sales, some of the sales products as well, kind of stuff. So look out, they've got a Black Friday sales coming on as well. All you've got to do is just head down, look for the offer, and then basically just click on it, fill in a form, and you'll get a link to basically getting these offers to your sort of desktop or mobile phone.
Great stuff. Every penny counts, Books. Thank you.
We've had a question in the chat. So Charlene was just wondering if there's any tips on passive income.
I saw it, and Charlene, I wasn't going to ignore it, but I saw it. I don't know what they are.
Passive income, just income that's coming in, I assume, isn't it? It's basically something that comes in. Usually it's linked to sort of network marketing stuff, I assume. Is that correct?
I'm happy to jump in there if you want any assistance.
Yeah,
I was going to be very cynical about it, Carol, so that you'll be much more positive than me about passive income, because I get asked this about 27 times a week.
Oh, okay. You could probably think about doing something like affiliate marketing. So, you could actually become an affiliate for a company. I always advise maybe go for something that's reoccurring, like a software company, where they have a monthly price plan that people are having to pay every single month. I do know quite a lot of people that are doing really, really well with software companies right now, and gaining, passive income through that way. So that's an idea maybe that you could think of. We've also got an affiliate marketing webinar as well. You'd probably like to sign up to that if you want to know more on how to become an affiliate marketer.
Excellent. Thank you, Carol. Much more positive than what my response was going to be. It was somewhere along the lines of me saying if I knew how to do it, then I probably wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be on a beach somewhere, doing it. But yeah, if it's a thing and there's people doing well, then good luck to them. Okay, number 26 book. So this is related. We've talked about measuring everything, tracking it. This one's more about the kind of website analytics side and being able to trust the data of that. If you could just talk us through that.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So most of you guys probably will have a website at some stage on your business as such. Most of them may just be informational. Some may were basically e-commerce as well. So you're selling products and so on that side. Google, our friend Google, provides a lot of information out there. It's not just actually Google, but there is a lot of tools out there to make sure how your website is working. So you need to understand where your clients are coming from to land on your website. First of all, hopefully you've done sort of lots of SEO on your website. Understand social media and direct people from your social media to your website. Now you need to know what path they've taken, what's the road they've taken, where have they come from. They're not just walking past, like, you know, if you have a shop on the high street and then they pop in to see a window display and they just pop in. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen that on the internet highway. They must have come from a referral or something along the line. And you want to know literally where they land on your on your website. Is it the home page or is it any of the other pages? Okay. And what are they doing on your website? What pages are they looking at? If they, you know, if it's not the home page, if they've landed on another page, are they looking for something in particular? Are they using the links coming through, etc.? Are they clicking on any of your menus? Where are they going? What are they putting inside their cart? If it's an e-commerce website, this is where some of the measure everything point 30 we discussed as well comes in as well, because you need to understand if clients are coming onto your website, looking around and then literally going away, you need to understand why, okay? Because search engines look at this as well. They know they can track your clients. They know how much time clients actually spend on your website. And this is going to affect, obviously, your ranking as well. Secondly, you need to know if clients come onto your website, they maybe look around, purchase an item, or they go to purchase an item, they pop it into a cart, okay? And is that cart then being, obviously, is it going through the process of receiving the payment, making the payment, or is that cart basically being abandoned, okay? So you need to know that, because at the end of the day, you need to know, again, the point, why is your cart being abandoned? They've actually purchased it. They want to buy that product. They liked it. They looked at it. They popped it into the cart. Why has it not gotten any further than that? So you've lost out on sales again. So wherever the website analytics will obviously give you that information, but you need to see the process on that as well. The other thing, if your sales are going through really well, beautiful, lovely, congratulations, but you need to measure what kind of, you know, price tags those sales are going in. If you have a variety of products, say from basically £50 to maybe £500 products, okay, why are you just selling the £50 products? Why is there repeat coming through? People are just happy to buy the £50 ones or even less than that. So it's called average order value, AOV, or average book value, ABV. You need to understand why just those products are selling. Why is your high level, your high mark tickets, why are they not actually going through? So you need to understand customer behavior, customer purchase requirements, etc., what they're doing, kind of stuff. Are the high ticket value products really not, you know, are you costing yourself out? Is your competition having a better sale than you on those products? Look out for all of these things. So website analytics will basically give you that information. Also, together with when your website is actually busy, okay, the peaks and troughs again, it will give you that information. It will give you gender types. It will give you bounce rates, customers bouncing off the website. It will give you all, and obviously it will tell you what appliances clients are using as well. Is it desktops? Is it mobiles? Considering that 90% of searches are now done on tablets and mobile phones, so you need to be wary that to make sure that your website is performing both really well for both those platforms as well. But lots of information. Google Analytics, like I said, is there. It is the biggest one out there. They did do a major change in July, so things have sort of changed over. It does take a little while to basically get used to with them. But look at them. Look at Google Analytics, Google Search Console. These are ideal things for your website to look at. And there's loads of other, platforms out there that you can make sure that your website is SEO friendly as well, because that's when you're going to be showing up to make sure that you end up on the SERPs or the search engine results page, making sure that customers come towards your website.
Thank you, Butts. Excellent advice there. Google Analytics, website analytics, very, very important if you're trading off a website. Tip number 25, the last one for you, Butts. Reviews and feedback. Why are they important, and what should you be doing with them?
Well, reviews and feedback. So you've got clients coming through. At the end of the day, you've got your clients coming back through to yourself. They're purchasing your items. Why not take advantage of them? Get clients to leave your reviews. We all get these. Whoever we buy anything from nowadays, automatically they will data capture our email. We'll get our email back after the sale saying, can you tell us how well we performed from purchase of, how well our website was, to the service level, etc., to the products that we've received as well. This is really, really crucial for all businesses to take on. Over the last 10 or 15 years, this has become very, very popular. Literally every single business out there is doing this. Some will even reward you to have a review from yourself as well. It's essential. I class this the review section on your website or on your social media platforms or anywhere that you have. It's basically your silent salesperson. Customers do a couple of things before they make a purchase. If they're being recommended, they'll come to your website. They'll actually have a massive nose about before they actually buy anything. But before they buy it, they're going to check out other people, other competition as well. But what they will do is mostly is to check out the comments on your social media and check out your reviews on your websites and social media. This is basically the tip for them on the fence. They're sitting on the fence on deciding should they buy the product or should they go somewhere else. The reviews will actually knock them over and actually make them have that purchased. They will go for the reviews. Even if your product is slightly dearer than your competition, the reviews will have it. I've done it myself, personally, where I've looked at a product, I found it cheaper somewhere else, but I'm thinking, there's no reviews there, but there's reviews here. So seems like a trustworthy business. And it's obviously going to make sure, I'm going to be, grateful for that, etc. Because there's a lot more reviews on it, and it could be slightly dearer, but I will pay that money because a lot of people have had a really good experience. So make sure you collect reviews, even if it's the first time you do a sale or the 1,000th time a sale. Reach out to that client via email, send them the direct links to maybe Google reviews, Facebook reviews. If they're not on any of those platforms, ask them just an email feedback that you can copy and paste and display on your website as well. Obviously not showing their full details kind of stuff, but do this. This is really, really essential for all businesses to do.
Thank you very much, Butts. Really good advice. Next, we're going to move on to tip number 24, which is take HR seriously. And we'll welcome here Steve from the Hertfordshire Growth Hub. So Steve's the growth account manager. He's got 25 plus years experience in owning and running SMEs in the technology sector. He originally qualified as an aircraft engineer. He's obviously going up in the world then, Steve, in the RAF before moving into the commercial sector in the 80s. He's worked as a manager and a director within SMEs in technical, operational and financial roles. So welcome, Steve. Thanks for giving us your time today. Over to you to talk about why we should be taking HR seriously.
Thanks very much. Thank you, and welcome to everybody. Hopefully everybody's take a big deep breath now. We're cracking on through the list. All good stuff. And all very important to developing the business. This little topic really, why HR is so important, is if you think about some of the other discussions that we've had previously, it's really important to listen and understand what your customers want. It's also quite important to listen and understand what your supply chain needs. in order for them to support your business. But probably the most critical is going to be when you have to build a team. When you first start, you will be in a situation where you're doing everything. The role that you fulfill within the business is emptying the bins, keeping the books, controlling the marketing strategy, doing the selling, delivering the goods, whatever. But very, very quickly, as soon as you've proved your business model, and that means that somebody wants what you're selling and is prepared to pay what you need in order to make the business sustainable, you're very going to quickly need extra help. So what happens in the early stages of a business are that you attract people who come in to help you. You're still doing it, but they are helping you. And that's absolutely fine for a period of time. You will then reach another plateau where you need to kick on. And to kick on, you need to build a team. So it's really important, probably up to about 5 people. You can probably manage 5 people reasonably adequately if you have at least some basic people skills. If you don't have people skills, I'll be very surprised if you're an entrepreneur. Most entrepreneurs, people who are going to take the risk and set up a business and go for it, they've pretty well developed social skills themselves. When you move on to the next stage, you really need to be able to identify other people in your organization that have got the same level of skill, not necessarily in the same area. That's something that we'll come on to shortly. But HR is such an important part of developing the business and growing it to the next level. So how do you do that? Well, the first thing that you really need to do is understand yourself and understand that your role is to actually look after the people that you bring into the business. If you look after other people, they will look after you. Richard Branson very famously says, look after your people and they'll look after your business. The way that you're going to do that is clearly communicate with people, be transparent, be very specific about the roles and responsibilities that people have within the business. It's not their responsibility to do everything in the same way that you do everything. But if you are clear with them about where the business is going, how they fit into it, and what's in it for them as much as what's in it for you, then everybody's visions become aligned, and then you can work collectively together as a team. Just one side note on this, obviously, when people use the expression HR, a lot of people think about legal compliance and regulation. So it's very important to get that covered off to protect you and your business. Make sure that you do have structured systems in place to deal with employment law and compliance with what's in a contract of employment. Also, I would argue that it's sensible to make sure that you have a sensible induction process, training and development for your team. So really, really important. It might not be relevant to you right away at this time. I don't know the individual businesses, but in time, believe me, it becomes what you do. And if you do it well, you will build a successful team and they will help you to build a successful business.
Excellent. Thank you, Steve. We'll move on to tip 23, which is scaling the operations manual.
Yeah, so this is a nice follow-on from really building your team. If you want to induct people into your organization for them to understand what you do and the way that you do it, not the way that they may have learned it by working for somebody else, but the way that you do it that differentiates your business and gives you those unique values and benefits that you can deliver to your customers, then you really need to get it written down and have it systemized so that you can teach people how to actually operate the business. If you don't get this right in terms of creating an operations manual for your business, you will spend your life running around fixing problems and getting very frustrated that people haven't done things in a way that you thought was intuitively obvious or that you believe that everybody understood. There's only one way to do this, and that is think of it as a Bible for your business. So as you're going along, you continually add things into your Bible for your business about the way that you want to do business and the way that you want your team to do it. That then provides you with a great template for checklists and training manuals for your people when they come in, so that they will then continue to do the work in the way that you would like it done. Very often a challenge for business owners is that they say, and I'm sure some people will identify, I can't find the right people with the right skills. And one of the reasons that that is such a problem for people is they have not explained to them how this business model runs, how this organization is put together. So an operations manual is a must. And if you want to scale up your business, and that means grow much faster, then you need to have this in place in order to educate your team and formalize the way that you're going to do business for your customers.
100% leads on nicely to the next point as well, Steve.
Yes,
Which,
so
I think
it's all a cunning.
My personal experience, it took me a long time to figure this out, that everyone didn't need to be like me.
Yes, and this really is a cracker, right? If you think about a team, I would say use the football analogy, which is, if you're all strikers, who's in goal? If you think of a football team, any sports analogy is probably valid for this. Business is a team game. It starts out very much where you are the team and you have to run from one end of the pitch to the other, but you cannot develop, you cannot move the business forward until you recognize the fact that you actually need other people around you, and it's a team effort. You are the leader, so you are the person who's going to ultimately motivate and inspire people about your business and about your customers, and in order to make your business successful. So a lot of people, when they start a business, they don't think that they're going to be an inspirational leader or a motivator, but you are, and you will have to learn, otherwise your business will not grow. One thing that is absolutely imperative in there is you do not create a clone. If you think about it, if you met someone who was just like you, you're probably going to fight them. you're going to agree on lots of things, and you're going to disagree on lots of different things. So what you want within a team is around you shouldn't be looking for people who've necessarily got the same profile as you. A good example of this, where it could be a threat, is you admire people who have an entrepreneurial mindset. Not everybody does. That personalities, we're all individuals, and we've all got different personalities. An entrepreneurial mindset requires somebody who's going to take a risk, and is prepared to take a risk, and will make some judgments sometimes based on instinct rather than factual evidence. That can be good and can be bad, but would you really want your finance manager taking the same approach to how they ran finance for you? Simple answer, no, you don't. Also, if you've got people, and as we've said, if you're doing consultative selling, really important to be able to listen to what your customer's saying, but you've got people who just talk at them all the time, that's no good for your business. You fit the right people in the right place. You don't need somebody else like you. You might need somebody who's got some of your attributes, but the first stage to getting this right is be aware of what you are and how you work, and then think about complementary skill sets that will help you build your business.
100%. I think it's good business advice. It's probably quite good marriage advice as well, Steve.
I think it, yes.
That's a whole nother webinar.
Yeah, I think it's like everything else is. Don't think of being the boss, telling everybody what to do. I come from a military background, and it very much works on that. That's a culture that works for some people, but doesn't work for most people. And it does not work in a commercial environment. Do not spend your life telling people what to do. Work with people, get their ideas, and then you choose the ideas that you believe are best for your business. You're still in charge, if you like, but you don't have to be the boss. You are not the repository of all information, and you don't want people spending all day trying to get hold of you to get an answer to a question that they are actually perfectly qualified to answer themselves.
Yeah, 100%. Great advice. Last one for you, Steve. Get systems in place, which again links nicely into some of the things you've been talking about here.
So this is really important, that part of creating that operations manual and having the right people in the right place is also you need to be able to give people systems. When you first start, first businesses that I've started, I don't know if it was just my age or whether it was affordability, systems were on paper. I don't know if people have seen T-card systems and various different filing systems and mechanisms of controlling information flows through your business. finance documents all used to be paper. Everything came in the post, but it works.
Bank.
It works, and you can actually establish your business on paperwork systems. Mostly, I think, early entrepreneurs, if you're a new start business or an early start business, a lot of people will have very good systems that are very ad hoc. So there's a bit of this, you know, it might be in a spreadsheet somewhere, it might be in a Word document somewhere, it might be in a database. As you move forward, it's really important that whatever your systems are, that you can control them and link them together. So technology is the perfect route for doing this. There are, I would argue, there's very little point in doing accounts manually anymore in ledgers. I don't know anybody who would, and if they did, how are you going to expand that quickly? So use an accounts package. If you are looking at your marketing and your sales information, get a CRM, a customer relationship management software. They're not expensive, and they allow you to actually get back to one of our previous points about measure what's going on and also control the flow of information. And the most important thing about these systems is that you can then teach your people to use them. So if you teach people to complete them and they are simple and easy processes to follow, everything becomes very much smoother. We'll have all dealt with companies that have systemized what they're doing. I'm dealing with one at the moment. I don't know if anybody's got an experience of an organization called Loft Boys in Hoddesdon. There's a bit of banging going on in the background in my house at the moment. I'm having some loft work done, some insulation and boarding done. Great company from a systems point of view. So far, been brilliant. It's automated process. If you can automate it, it makes it easy for your customer, makes it easy for your people to actually deliver what you want to deliver, that value and benefit that you want to deliver for your customers.
Great stuff. Thank you, Steve. Excellent contribution. Really appreciate you sparing us the time today. Thank you very much. Okay, so back on to me for the next one. I'm going to kind of whiz through the next couple because I think some of them are very obvious. This one looks a bit weird, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Top tip number 20, eat the frog. Has anyone ever heard of that expression before? Stick it in the chat if you had. So this was a relatively famous comment or quote from Mark Twain, who once said, if it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first. The message behind this is, and it links into a couple of things that are coming up, is that sometimes when we're running our own businesses, the real big and important stuff that we really need to do, we push it back, we push it back, we push it back. And what we do is we tackle with all of the small things that we find a lot easier, and maybe the small things that kind of take less brain power. So the message behind this is identify which of the issues for your business are going to have the biggest impact, and then have that decision with yourself where you find you're most productive. So for me, I know that if I've got to do anything that's going to require a bit of brain power, I need to do it before 11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, because otherwise what happens is that my brain starts to become less effective as we go through the day. There may be some of you who are the complete opposite to that, who are night owls, who come alive at 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and that's when you become more creative. And that's fine. Yeah, but it's just thinking about what are your big tasks, what are the things that are really going to impact on your business, give them the necessary brain space, give them the right time, and stop putting them off, because they're never going to go away. And all the little things that you are doing instead of them are not going to have anywhere near the impact on your business that eating the frog will. Tip number 19. So we would say this, wouldn't we? So one of our bits of advice is that we believe that you can really benefit from having a mentor. That's not just saying it has to be Hearts Growth Hub, or it has to be Wenta, or any one of our other partners. But I just want to talk for a minute or so on why I believe that having a mentor can be really, really important for you. And I think the first reason is that running a business, I've done it, most of the people on this call who are presenting today have done it, and it can be incredibly, incredibly lonely. I think as Steve said before, when you're in charge of marketing, you're in charge of sales, you're in charge of making your own tea, you're in charge of ordering stationery and all these things. Everything sits on you until you get to the point where you have a team behind you. And sometimes it becomes all consuming. And you end up then by overthinking so many parts of your business not only are you lonely, you start to make bad decisions. So I think if you can find the right person who will sit alongside your business, in some cases you might have to pay for that service, in other cases you don't, but someone who again complements your skills, who is not heavily involved in your life or in your business, but can actually, old expression, see the wood for the trees, because you've been churning something so much over in your mind, someone new comes to it and can give you insight and give you direction really, really quickly because they're not as invested as you. There are several places where you can get a mentor. It may be if you're going into a particular sector, you might want to get a mentor in that sector who can open doors for you, who can do recommendations for you, give you insight. Or it may be, and this works for some people, where actually it doesn't really matter what experience that mentor has in your sector, because it's about the process, as Steve was saying. It's about the structure. It's about how we do things. Yeah, so really recommending, if you're on here, if you haven't got one already, yeah, then think about it. Of course, that's part of the service that we can provide here. And as I said right at the beginning, it's not going to cost you anything. So really important, don't live it alone, share the burden. Yeah, get someone that can actually listen to you and give you some good advice and make you go forward. I think 9 times out of 10 in my experience when I've been a mentor, the person ends up coming, if the mentor's good, the person ends up coming up with the answer themselves. You know, and that's part of a role of a mentor, is just talking, listening, and getting the person to come to their own conclusion and pushing that forward. Tip number 18, somewhat not controversial, but people would disagree with me, and I'm quite happily to have this debate. But we're told as business owners that we got to multitask, we got to wear several different hats, we got to do loads of different things. And yeah, I buy into that, and you've got to do loads of different things. But for me, when it comes to the important stuff, don't try and juggle too many important things at once. You're far better off splitting your tasks up. Yeah, looking at the important tasks you have and focusing 100% on the tasks that are important to your business. If you have 5 or 6 little tasks that are not going to make too much impact to your business and you want to juggle them, you want to have the plate spinning, then fine. But the big things for your business, the big decisions, do not do them where you've got one eye on something else. Find a way to focus and to make sure that that is getting your full attention and you're not being distracted by other issues that are going on. And in this day and age, it's very easy to be distracted by so many different things, whether it's our phones, our laptops, our tablets, whatever it may be. So if you're going to do something important, don't multitask. Focus 100% on that task and do not walk away from that task until it's done, unless you are going to have a natural break from it. One of the techniques that can help you with that, because sometimes spending a lot of time on one task can get quite difficult and it can start to hurt the old grey matter, is actually tip number 17, which is the Pomodoro technique, which some of you may have heard of before. So as we know in a business, and especially most businesses don't have an abundance of cash to start their business. Yeah, it has to be sweat equity that's driving the business forward. What that then leaves us with, our biggest commodity often in our businesses as we grow them and start them, is our time. And if we start wasting that time and using that time on the wrong things, then we're going to get lost and we're going to feel as though we're really busy, but we're not going to be seeing the returns from that in terms of the cash coming into our business. So the Pomodoro technique is an interesting technique that a lot of people swear by, and I've used it before, and it can be very, very effective. And the 2 numbers you need to remember with this are the numbers 25 and 5. So effectively what you do for the big tasks, the ones that are going to take a lot of brain power, maybe something like writing a marketing plan, writing a business plan, writing a pitch to a potential new customer, all of these things that are important, is that what you do is you work for 25 minutes, you break for 5. So you do 25 minutes on the task, and then you will get up for 5 minutes and you will walk away and you will do something different, have a cup of tea, go and have a cigarette or whatever your poison is, but you don't just sit there and try and relax for that 5 minutes when the work is in front of you. 25 minutes on the task, time it, put a timer on your phone so it rings when it's 25 minutes up, then force yourself to walk away and do something different. You can still be proactive, you might be hanging out in the washing, you might be doing whatever it is, but the key thing is you're not doing this task. And then you get back to the situation, it's a cycle. You then come back and you do 25 minutes, you have 5 break. You do 25 minutes, you have 5 break. And then on the 4th occasion of this, or it can sometimes be the 3rd, you do 25 minutes, and then you're going to have a longer break of half an hour, just so that you can walk away. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who, by forcing yourself to walk away from something, when you come back to it, you can sometimes see that in a different kind of sense, or with a different set of eyes, because you just lost the focus for it. You've come back and you can maybe spot mistakes you've made, or think about new ways in which you want to word things. Yeah. So you can Google this. It's quite easy to follow up. Or if you're really desperate in terms of time management, then you can join me tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. This is a plug. You can join me tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, because I'm running a 2-hour time management webinar at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So due to finish at 11. So the test will be, do I finish on time, and whether I practice what I preach? So if you're interested in that, just stick that in the chat and we can get you booked in. Okay, that's enough for me for a minute. I'm going to hand over to one of my other colleagues. So I'm going to hand you over to Michael. So Michael's got over 15 years experience in the field of business finance, on another number of local and national programs, helping a lot with starting up in terms of businesses, applying for startup loans, and just helping people to get from that early stage and to get operating with their business and growing their business. So I'm going to hand over to you, Michael, and I'll bring up the first tip, which is tip number 16, cash is king.
Well, cheers for that, Matt. So I'm Michael. I'm one of the business advisors that work here at Wenta. So cash is king. So I'm going to go with the theme of growth businesses. Okay. So when we talk about cash is king, we're talking about sort of working capital, cash flow within your business, and liquidity in your business. Hopefully you've got more money coming into your business than you have sort of going out, although I understand that's not always the case. It all depends on what type of business that you are. So for example, let's say I'm a pub. Okay, I'm selling alcoholic drinks, selling snacks over the counter. As I pass over that drink, that snack there, I'm getting paid for it sort of instantly through cash, through credit card, through direct debit. So it goes directly into my business account. However, I'll also have suppliers. Okay, so my suppliers might be paid at the end of the week or every sort of 2 weeks or so there. Okay, if I was a marketing consultant, okay, I might have to invoice at the end of every month. Therefore, money coming into my business will be sort of a lot slower than that pub there. But with growth in mind, hopefully you've been trading for a little bit now, be it 3 months, 6 months, or even a year. You should have been able to identify sort of certain patterns. Okay. How much money is coming into your business on a monthly basis, and how much money is sort of going out? Okay. You need to manage the money coming in and out of your business to finance sort of any potential growth for yourself, for your business. And the growth, to finance that growth, it doesn't need to come out of profits at the end of the day. You can finance growth through sort of loans, bank overdraft, investment, angel investors, for example. Okay. But you've got to know when to spend that money in order to grow. Otherwise, you always sort of stagnate. Okay, you always remain the same. Even if it's something like, I worked with a previous company before. In order to grow their portfolio, they actually bought their IT provider. Okay, I'm not sure how it worked, but they bought them. I think it was some shares involved, exchange of shares, wherever it may have been. Okay, but they bought them. Okay, and that was another avenue that they could provide, another product, another service that they could have offered to bring in more revenue for themselves there. Okay, I know I worked for another company. They moved office. Okay, moved to a location to free up more. Rent was sort of cheaper. They've done their calculations. The money that they'll save on rent. Okay, saved on the clients and customers that possibly would have left them now they've left that location. So they've done those calculations, for example, and it was more profitable for them that way. More money in their pocket to expand the business, to expand their operations as well. So you've got to constantly sort of monitor money coming in and out of your business and knowing when to sort of spend it there.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. I think it's one of the most frustrating things ever when I see businesses who go bust, not because they're not popular, not because they haven't got a great product, but the relationship between money coming in and money going out is not a positive one. And therefore, I think it's really sad because often they've done a great job. They've just not managed that gap between finances in and out. which, you know, it'd be a real shame to do all the hard work and then lose a business because of that relationship there. Next one for you, Michael, tip 15, keep learning.
Learning. Oh, I love this. You've got to get out of the mindset that you know it all. Okay, it might feel like that way at the start. Okay, and great, fantastic. I love the confidence there. But sometimes if you stay in that mindset, you get a bit of tunnel vision. Okay, my way is the right way. Anything outside of that tunnel is the sort of the wrong way. So you've got to get into the mindset of constantly be willing to learn, okay, to willing to improve and be able to adapt as well. So every sort of business out there encounters sort of barriers, you know, roadblocks, okay, mistakes as well. Every sort of business owner at the start will make mistakes, and as they sort of progress and grow their business as well. Okay, so you've got to learn from those mistakes. Okay, you've got to know when to broaden your horizons. Okay, so it could be simply like learning how to create a website or learning how to maintain the website. Previously, you've got someone else to do it. You've found a bit of time, maybe a bit of interest to yourself. I'm going to learn how to do that website. I'm going to take control of that website now. Okay, but everything within reason. You don't want to burden yourself with sort of too much tasks, especially if you can afford to pay someone else to do it. It's a bit like an accountant. To be honest with you, I started off my career in accounts. However, if my business can afford it, I'm going to pay that accountant. It frees me up to do other things for the business, concentrate on the marketing, on the sales, on the customer relations, or whatever it may be there. Okay, so there's ways that you can continue to learn. Okay, attend sort of trade shows, for example, attend events, join Facebook groups, join LinkedIn groups as well. Okay, learn from like-minded people such as yourself, okay, in the same industry. So you are up to date with industry news, taking advantage of any sort of opportunities to yourself, different ways of thinking, different ways of sort of doing things as well. But you should always be in that mindset of continuing sort of learning, learn from other people, learning from the best at times as well.
Thank you, Michael. Top tip number 14, 2 ways to chase money.
Oh, chase money. I actually struggled with this one a bit, to be honest with you, because there are many ways you could go about in chasing sort of money. Okay. So for example, if I was operating on an invoicing system, okay, allowing people to take control of the goods now, then in a week's time, in 2 weeks' time, then they have to sort of pay me. Okay. Monitoring all of that, tracking all of that can be a bit of a pain. Okay, can get a bit sort of messy. So the first way of doing it is make sure you have a system in place. Okay, make sure you have a process in place. A bit like sort of the manual that we were sort of talking about sort of earlier, have that process in place. So if it does say someone hasn't paid you within the first week when it is due, okay, make it clear from the start, it is due at the end of the week, for example. Don't be afraid to send out those reminders. Don't be afraid to escalate it if there's a constant pattern of them not paying you, of them sort of ignoring you as well, okay? And as a last resort, as I always say when I speak to my clients and customers, if needed, you're going to have to get sort of legal representation there, okay? Obviously, it's got to be worth your time. If it's a couple of thousand, okay, definitely go for it. If it's a couple of hundred, sometimes it's just bad luck. You'll know what to do sort of next time, which sort of tied in closely with the other point about never stop learning. With myself, just to share a quick story with yourselves there, going off subject a bit, so apologies for this, Matt. But when I first set up a sort of restaurant with my family members, we used to do large bookings for parties. People used to book out massive karaoke rooms at the sort of restaurant, for example. I never used to take deposits down. Okay, so one night we had about 30, 40 people make a booking. Last minute, they sort of cancelled. I didn't take a deposit down. I lost out hugely. Okay, next time I knew to take a deposit. Sometimes you've got to sort of learn from those mistakes and take it on the chin and sort of move on. So sorry, just got off subject a bit. Don't be afraid to send those reminders as well. Okay, I wouldn't say send threatening reminders, a polite reminder. Okay, just a little nudge. Everybody's busy running their business. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared if someone has missed a payment to yourself. Okay, again, everybody is sort of busy. They might just generally forgot. So sending that polite reminder, not being afraid to escalate it, making sure you have that system, that process in place, so you're not making it up as you sort of go along, could go a long way in helping you secure sort of more money coming into your business there.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just going to add just a quick bit onto that based on my experience. So if anyone on this call who's going to grow a business, and you're going to sometimes one of the first few hires you make will be in the area of finance or accounts in terms of managing the thing. My advice would be you hire one of two people. Either you find that person who instantly is able to make people their friends, people like them, get on with them, so that when they are chasing your money, people feel almost that they're so nice, I have to give them the money before I'm going to pay someone else. That's the first type of person. The second type of person is, and I've met many of these, and I'm sure some of you, Steve, and others who have been in business a long time have met these as well. How's the best way to put it? Think about someone who works in accounts who is absolutely horrendous, who will chase and chase, has no concerns about upsetting people, will phone people 10 times a day, will actually just burden people so much that when people have got a list of who they've got to pay, they're always going to pay that person first because they don't want them on the phone. So that thing about who you're taking on, whether it's an outsourced person, whether it's someone in your business, either they have to be the person's best friend to get your money in before everyone else gets it, or they have to be a complete pain in the backside to that person. I've never seen a situation where the middle ground works. I think you need to be one of those two. So just my personal opinion, and I've seen that working in experience. I'd love to say the person who's nice is always the one that's better, but actually it's generally the person that's a real pain in the backside that gets the money in because people are scared of them. So just a little add-on from me there. Okay, move on to next one. So top tip 13, Michael, get some help with admin.
All right, then. So we offer that sort of service. So we offer a virtual office, a registered address service, particularly useful for anybody wanting to set up a limited company, maybe don't want to use their home address as a registered address because that is sort of made public on Companies House. For a small sort of monthly subscription, for a small fee, you can use any one of our Wenta centres address. You can get parcels. You can get letters sent to the centre. We can give you a call to let you know that they've arrived, or we can even send them to you. We can even answer the phone, okay, in the name of your business as well. Take down any messages and pass them on to yourself. You can set up a mailbox at any one of our centres as well. Okay, we can give you a key to the mailbox. Again, get your letter sent there. You can come and go as you please. Some people get that virtual office, that registered address, because it's just an address that you're sort of paying for. You don't pay for the overheads, you don't pay for the gas, the water, the electricity or rent. It's just that monthly sort of subscription there. You can hire an actual virtual assistant, a subcontractor who does all the sort of the paperwork, the invoicing and for yourself. We don't provide that as such, but we provide you with that address to send your parcels, your letters there. And it all depends on the address as well. Some people like a London address, okay? How great would it be, to have a registered address in the really, positive, really well-known, prestigious sort of postcodes there. So again, we offer that here at Wenta at all of our centres, but there are also other business centres that offer that address as well. So don't be afraid to sort of shop around, okay? But my advice is trying to find something sort of local to yourself at times, because sometimes you do need to come in to that centre, collect those parcels, for example. But everybody until their own there. So there's some great benefits. There are some sort of disadvantages, but I'm going to focus on these sort of the positives there.
Thank you. And we've got a virtual assistant on the call. So Charlene's done a bit of sales work, a bit of marketing work here. She's put in the chat, she's a virtual assistant. She loves admin. So if there's anyone on this call that is growing and wants someone to take away that pain, then I'm sure Charlene will happily share her contact details with you privately. So you can talk about how she can help you. Excellent. So we're going to change speaker up again now. So we're getting, making reasonable time and we're getting sort of close to the end. Or was there one more? No, there's one more, Michael.
One more for me. One for me.
You're a disservice here. Got it completely wrong when I got the list in front of me. And it's probably because I saw the T word, Michael, and I thought I don't really want to hear anything about him. But yeah, tell us why we need to respect the tax man.
Yeah, so the tax man, don't mess with the tax man, I would say. As it says on the slide, nobody likes paying tax. I certainly don't, but it is a necessity. Okay? You don't want to be paying too much. you don't want to be paying too little. Okay, doesn't matter if it's income tax, national insurance, corporation tax, stamp duty, and sort of so on there. Okay, so this is where an accountant might start paying for themselves. Okay, and that accountant will hopefully will have the necessary knowledge, the skill set, okay, to ensure that you're not paying too much tax or too little tax, that you're paying just the right amount. They will have expert knowledge in terms of allowances, okay, how best to take money out of the limited company, okay, a combination of wages, a combination of dividends, for example. They sort of pay for themselves there, okay. But it is your responsibility to ensure that there is enough money within the business, okay, to pay the tax man. Okay, what some people do is, and this is if you're sort of a sole trader, okay, it's not a sort of a rule, okay, it's not a sort of principle, but some people do this. As soon as they get a bit of money in from the business in terms of sales, they sort of put 20% away, okay, into sort of a reserve account, put that aside. So when it does come to sort of pay your taxes, your national insurance, and so forth, it comes out of that pot. Hopefully, you've got enough in that pot, okay, to pay off that tax, for example, or you might have to top it up sort of slightly, but at least you sort of budgeted for it. You've set some money aside for it there, okay. But I like to think if affordable, where possible, hire that accountant. Shop around. Don't be afraid to change accountants as well until you come to find your happy medium, until you find that good relationship with that particular accountant there. Okay, so that's it from me, Matt, I think.
Great stuff. Yeah, sorry for cutting you one short, Michael, but well done. So,
cheers.
Now we're I'm gonna hand you over to another business advisor here at the Wenta, guy called Mick, and Mick's going to talk you through the next 4 or 5, and then I will round us off and I'll do my bit at the end really, really quickly, so we finish as close to 4 o'clock as humanly possible. Mick, welcome.
Thank you, Matt. Right. Yeah, I'll be fairly brisk with this because I understand there's a time management course running quite soon and I need some of that. Like you were saying, I need to starting early in the day. If you need any brain time on things, I find I need to have started in about 1994. Never mind 11 o'clock in the morning. So discounting, race to the bottom of discounting. Discounting, basically bad plan. That's a generalization, but bad plan without serious thought. Discounting brings with it a smack of cheap. You need to be very careful that you don't confuse good value with cheap. You need to be very careful that you don't upset your perception in your customers' eyes and potentially your competitors' eyes, because they will be thinking, what's going on here? Serious discounting. Are these people on the ropes and failing? As there is a danger of putting the wrong signals out into the marketplace. And I will just give a very quick danger signal for discounting. If you're selling product for 10 quid, so your product costs you sells for 10, costs you 6, you're making £4 a time. If you're selling 100 of them in a week, you're making £400 in a week. You think, I know, I will do some discounting. This will drive sales. This will establish my presence in the market like the Lord that I am. You give that a shot. You discount 10%, bringing your product sales price down to 9 quid from 10. However, your manufacturing costs and all else remain exactly the same at 6. So you're making £3 a product, not 4. That means the 100 that you sell, if you maintain your sales, generates £300, not £400. You've got to do 33% more sales just to stand still for a 10% discount with that cost model. It's, be very careful with discounting. It is not a good idea generally, unless you do it with great caution, possibly allied to the early stages of a product launch, which we will touch on in pricing in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items time. Cool. End of.
Number 10, employment contracts.
Yeah, this one, employment contracts give you protection, give your staff protection, give possibly your contractors protection. Be wary with employment. Employing staff is no joke. It's no light matter. It's probably the most serious and heavyweight thing you'll ever do in your business, because not only are you deciding on things you buy, things you sell, how you grow, you're deciding on if somebody else's kids get Christmas presents or not. It's a very, very serious thing, employing others. So take advice. The rules change all the time. Employment law is not to be trifled with. Take advice, look at insurance, make sure you've got employer's liability insurance in place, the terms and conditions of employment, statements of employment, what needs to go in them and how they have to be issued and the timescales within which they have to be issued. These things do change over time. Look on the Gov website for a generalist view on this. talk to a lawyer if you can. Quick shout out to the Lawyers for Your Business process run by the Law Society, where you get half an hour's free legal advice from a solicitor in your area. They won't solve your problems. They won't necessarily sort everything out, but you will, in half an hour, get to find out what it will cost you to sort it and what contracts will cost you to have drawn up in a bespoke manner. And last thing, it is possible to get employment contracts and related items from download sites. They're not expensive, they are not bespoke, but they will probably do the job and get you through in the early stages.
Yeah, 100%, Mick. From my experience with businesses pre-Wenta, there's two types of businesses when it comes to employment contracts and employment law. Those that take it seriously from the start of their business and cover themselves, and those that take it seriously about a day after they've come out of an employment tribunal that's cost them £1,000. Yeah. So that's the issue, that you'll often take these things seriously once you've been seriously whacked in a pocket. So really important to get it right at an early stage in your business. Number 9, ask why.
Yeah, why? In the early stages of your business, when you're setting up in the pre-start mode, when you flush with enthusiasm and looking into the incredibly rosy future that you see ahead of you, your mindset is not going to be the same as it is when you're in growth mode, or you've stabled out a little bit from the early stages. Think, why did I do something like that? Was it right? It may have been right for startup. Equally, it may have been a bit wrong for startup, and you could have learned from it. So look back at all that you've done, learn from it. The joy of doing things yourself is that you can look at them and be self-critical without having anybody sneer at you for being somebody who gets things wrong all the time, which is the joy of working in a large corporate sometimes. If you look back and find that something you've done wasn't quite how you do it now, change your process. You're in charge. It's the old your gaff, your rules. You can do what you like. So if I was going there, would I start from here? Think, what can I change? Why am I doing what I'm doing now? Re-engineer your processes if you can. Try and come and see a business advisor or a mentor. Sit down for half an hour and say, right, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is where I am. What do you think? Just to clarify your thinking and get an external view on what you're doing, and maybe there's a better way. There.
Super. Free money, Mick? Is there such a thing?
Yeah, free money. There is. Grants are free money. There's loads of them all the time. Every council's got them. People who come in to see me tell me, the council said you'd give me a grant, did they? Yeah, there is grant funding available in small quantities for social enterprises from a lot of councils. There are rumours around that the Shared Prosperity Fund will be generating money through councils and possibly through LEPs in the future. Tends to be for startups, tends to be startup and early stage businesses quite often. Expansion money is incredibly scarce. Big thing with grants is, firstly, if you do come across a grant funder, find out what they want, find out their agenda, find out what lights their lights up, and that's the tone of voice you write your business plan in, because sure as eggs is eggs, you're going to have to put a business plan to them. Also, the application form filled with extraneous stuff that nobody really needs, but they feel they're justifying it to their stakeholders. So you're going to have to put an application in with a lot of detail in there that's geared entirely for them, their preconceptions and their preferences. Bear that in mind when you're writing your business plan. Don't just churn out the same one as you sent to your bank when you started up. It's all about, I think, harking back to something Carol said and a couple of other people said earlier on. It's benefits. What's it going to do for me is what they're thinking when they read your business plan. Not what is it, not who are you. What's it going to do for me? Is it going to meet my needs? Is it going to produce my outputs? Is it going to produce my soft outcomes? Whatever it is they're looking for as a grant funder. The other top final thing on it, research, and there will be match funding involved in frequent cases. Therefore, understand match funding. So if you're going to get £3,000 from them, make sure that you understand that you may well have to stump up 500 quid, 800, whatever the match rate is. So understand the terms of their grant if you're getting into a grant with someone. Anything else?
Well, thank you, Mick. Roll with the punches.
Yeah, resilience. This is a thing. Things will go wrong, won't they, though? Again, if you narrow your eyes, you can see a business plan crawling slowly towards you through the murk. Because once you draw up a business plan, hopefully that's giving you a bit of a route map towards what's going to happen and how you think it's going to happen. Day 2, maybe day 3, the thing you never even considered might be a possibility will rock up at your door. It'll come through your roof. It'll stop your car driving. It'll stop one of your drivers. That'll happen. So roll with it, learn from it, look at it. Don't beat yourself up. there's a thing about resilience, and just for once in my tiny life, I did some research for one of these things. There's a thing about resilience. There's a lot of P's, been going on in all of this, and Books knows all about P's and pennies. There's personalization, pervasiveness, and permanence. This was a model that I came across. People view bad things happening to them with those hats on. They think personalization, they think it's happening to them. They think it's a personal thing, and it's not. It's a business problem. Pervasiveness, they think it's everywhere and all about them because they've had a bit of a hit that day and they've had a really poor day, and it gets you down. And the third one is permanence, and you think when it's happening to you, it's always going to be happening to you. You're never going to crawl out of the bucket. It's awful. And those three slices of mindset can seriously ruin your day and will impede in a big way you dealing with the rubbish that's just come at you. So understand there are things that happen to everybody when bad stuff strikes. If there's a row coming, address it. Go and find it and stand nose to nose with it and scream back at it. And if it's something that's already happened, understand you're going to react like one of those three things to it. Deal with that as you go along and try hard to bounce if you can.
Excellent. Great advice. Number 6 and the last one.
Is that the last one?
I think, for you. This is the last one for you. I was just checking after my mistake with Michael. So
I'll do the rest if you like. I haven't seen them, but I'll give them a try. Yeah, pricing. Again, there are a lot of pricing models. Shout out to our webinar on pricing. It's a complex area, and it's one you need to get right, because pricing will determine your profitability and your sustainability over time as well. There's multiple ways of doing it. Just a quick look at a couple of them. Price skimming, one of the most famous, for example, probably the craziest and best example I can think of is the iPad. Price skimming. You turn up with a brand new, ideally in the tech market product. You can charge what the hell you like for it because nobody's ever seen one before, and it's brilliant. And that's what Apple did with the iPad, and that's how Apple managed to sustain themselves going forward. They continually reinvent stuff in a beautiful and tech-efficient way, costing threepence to make. So they've really got it sorted, the price skimming thing. Penetration pricing is where you hit the market new with a new product, priced low to gain market attention. Dangerous. Getting a price back up from a low price. Dangerous. It might work, but do that with caution, much as discounting. Do it with caution. The ways you could generate your own price, again, at some speed. Cost plus pricing, you must know what this product or service costs you to get to market. Cost plus, got to know what it is, because if it's going to market at a price that doesn't leave you enough to live on, forget it, move on, do something else. And the other one, possibly value-based, which is what your clients or customers will be prepared to pay for it, and market price, which is what will limit what you can and can't pay for it. Possibly you can charge a premium because you see yourself and others see you as being slightly better than the market rate. But generally, market rate pricing will be a huge limiter on you, and you've got to know what you cost before you go to market with the price product. So there.
Thank you.
I'm out.
Great advice, delivered thing. You've left me 4 minutes to finish off 5 slides, so thank you very much for that. Yeah, what I'm going to do while I'm talking through the last 5 slides is just put a poll up. I mentioned this at the start. It's just a way for us to gauge from you what you found most useful out of the 40 tips so far today. So if I just launch that, and just, you can, hopefully that's popped up on your screen. I'll just talk over that if that's okay, and then we can get all of you away at 4 o'clock-ish. Yeah. So top tip number 5, imposter syndrome, links really nicely on to what Mick was saying there. And I think there's a strong correlation between issues with pricing and this thing called imposter syndrome. I don't know how big it is, but I'm going to talk about the mentality of it and how it can make you feel. I'm sure, and if you're brave enough to say it, you know, if there's people on here, then put it in the chat. I'm sure there's people here that actually look at their business, what they're doing, and think, I'm just not good enough, or have times in the day where they think to themselves, I'm not good enough to do this. And I see this most manifests itself when it comes to pricing, especially when people are doing hourly based pricing for services. When they actually calculate what they should be charging, they have this confidence crisis, and they look at it and go, no one's going to pay me £150 an hour to give them this advice. Yeah, so they end up then just dropping their pricing down and linking it. Yeah, so are you ever going to fix, if you think you're suffering from imposter syndrome, are you ever going to fix it? In my opinion, no. Yeah, but what you can do, a bit like rolling with the punches that Mick was saying, is just, you know, look at the data sometimes, look at how much you've achieved, look at the successes you've had in your businesses, ignore the failures for the time being, and actually give yourself a little bit of credit in terms of where you've come from to where you are in your business. So it's an issue. It's a live issue. It comes up with me probably 5-6 times a week in my meetings with people. So if you think that's you, embrace it. But it's more importantly, we don't just let that take hold. We then need to think about what we can change to improve that and generate more positivity around ourselves. Top tip number 4, know when to walk away. So this is to do with customer retention and customer sales. So you will get a lot of different advice on this. So if you are selling something to someone and you are chasing them and chasing them and chasing them, and they've made all the buying signs, they've said they're interested, and they're one of those annoying people that just seem to disappear off the face of the earth. So for me, what I would be doing is saying, I have a rule of I'll chase people 3 times. So if someone's supposed to get back to me or someone said they're interested in my product, I will send them a kind of nice little chaser saying, I understand you're busy. Let me know if you need any more information based on what I've sent you so far. That's that one. That's probably week 1. Week 2, I send them another message that says, I hope you saw my last message. I don't want to be that person to hassle you, but I'm here if you need me. That's week 2. And then week 3 is, look, I've taken the message. I'm going to leave you alone. You know where I am if you want it. Yeah, then come back to me and yeah, we'll see whether you're still interested. You know, you'll see loads of sales manuals. You'll see loads of stuff on that internet that is saying you should chase people 6-7 times. You know, the highest percentage of sales is making a cold call to people 6-7 times. I don't buy it. I don't believe it. Yeah, I think for you having control over your sales pipeline, chase them 3 times, and probably even at times that may be too many. It might be 2. Yeah, but chase them 2-3 times and then walk away. Yeah, focus your attention on the new people that are really interested in your business. You might then get a little Brucey bonus in the future that for no fault of your own, in 4 weeks away from when you've chased them, they pop up again and say, I'm ready to go now. I've not been very well, or the cat got run over, or whatever it may be. Yeah, and then you might actually see them come back into your pipeline and increase your sales. But don't keep on chasing the person over and over again, because all it's going to do is make you frustrated, make you angry, and potentially again damage the confidence in yourself that people want your product and people want their services. So make that decision, stick to it, have that discipline to walk away. Number 3, the marketing tap. So the marketing tap, as I mentioned on a presentation this morning, that, you know, for me in my head, it's because I'm older and I envisaged this marketing, or envisaged taps in the old days, that the standing taps where you would kind of turn them on and they would take a while before they started flowing at 100%. And that's what I'm trying to relate back to this marketing. You start your business and you're in the early stage of your business, you're marketing everywhere, you're sticking stuff out left, right and center. And then what happens, for whatever reason, by hook or by crook, something in your marketing works. Yeah. And then you get busy. And for the next 2 weeks, you are busy. So what you decide to do while you're busy is turn that marketing tap off, because you haven't got the time to do marketing, because you're servicing customers, sending product out to people, whatever it may be. Then that 2 weeks pass, you either service those customers or those customers disappear for a bit or whatever, and you sit there and go, I haven't got anything in my sales pipeline. I need to start marketing again. If you think you can then start marketing straight away and the results will come back straight away, you are delusional. Yeah, because it's that tap again. You turn the tap on, it's going to take a while before it's running. So for me, the marketing tap should never be fully turned off. You can leave it on and you can increase it or decrease it based on your time, based on your energy, based on your funds at times, but never turn the thing off, because otherwise you will end up with a business which is peaks and troughs, feast and famine, whatever words you want to use to describe it. So keep it going all the time and just increase the volume of it depending on where you are with your business and what you need to do. But don't ever turn it off, because you will feature that you will get a lag in your sales performance. I guarantee you that. Number 2 is the 80-20 rule, often known as a Pareto analysis. So the 80-20 rule is where, if you look at businesses and say that you are selling 100 different products, you look at where your revenue is coming from, and you will realize, and it's spooky, I've done this in every business I've been in, and it is spooky. Yeah, how every time it is pretty much bang on. So when I was in the travel industry, which airlines are we using the most? Which hotels are we using the most? Which destinations are we selling to the most? Yeah, if you've got 100 products, you do the calculation. I'm telling you now that somewhere in the region of 20% of your products will be delivering 80% of your revenue. Yeah. Happens virtually every single time. Now, the important thing with that is, while you would do that exercise, is to make sure that you understand which 20% of your products are selling 80% of it, because you need to work on them, you need to keep them, you need to secure your supply of them. You could potentially maybe put your prices up a little bit if they're that popular, but the thing you're going to do is make sure that those 20 products do not disappear. Then the simple decision could be then, well, if these 80% of my products that aren't delivering any of my revenue, or a very small amount, so 20%, why don't I get rid of some of them? Well, you can do that, but be very careful, because some of those products can be your window products. These are the products that are bringing people to your business, often in gadgets and techs and things like that. It works a lot. Yeah, where these are the products that are bringing people into your shop, whether that's an actual shop or virtual. And okay, they don't end up going to buy those other products. They go and buy the 20% of products that are selling all the time. Yeah, one quick example of that, when we used to do email campaigns in the travel industry, when we was working at Teletext Holidays. Yeah, we used to put mailers out, and our typical customer was a week in Spain, 2 weeks in Cyprus, that sort of customer. If we put Caribbean, Maldives, Mauritius, Far East in our email mailings, the most clicked on offer in our mailings was always the Maldives, the Caribbean, the Thailands, the ones that look glamorous. And then most of our customers looked at it and they thought, I'd love to be on that beach. Then they looked at the price and they went back to our website and put Benidorm. Yeah. So these products, even if they may not be bringing in direct revenue, they can be playing a role in your business to help, but understand which ones are doing which job. And the last one, very quick one. Yeah, we've talked about Mark Twain today. We'll now talk about Albert Einstein. Yeah, Albert Einstein had a theory. He had many theories, I think. By all accounts, he was quite an interesting chap. Yeah. The definition of insanity. So his definition of insanity was, if you keep doing the same things in the same way over and over again, why the hell are you expecting different results? So the message behind that is, if you are wanting to grow a business and that growth is not there yet, or you are struggling to get traction with your business, if you just carry on promoting and doing things in the same way, why do you think anything's going to change? You have to embrace change. You have to embrace the measurements, and you have to look quite clearly at the things that are working and the things that aren't working, and make the changes you need to push yourself forward. So remember Mark Twain, remember old Albert, if nothing else today, because they will stand you in good stead. Thank you for staying with. Has anyone stayed with us? Oh, we still got 31 people on the call. That's a new record for me. Yep. Thank you for giving up 2 and a bit hours of your valuable time. Thank you for my co-presenters for giving up your time and trying to translate what I put on a slide into something that you can talk about. I had the easy bit. You guys had the more difficult bit. Some of it was very much in map language. So thank you for doing that. And again, committing your time. For those of you outside of our business who have joined us today, hopefully you've seen so far that there is a huge amount of help available. Yeah. And most of that help is free. Certainly from us, it's free. So don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer on your own. Come along, watch a webinar, come along, have a meeting with one of us, whether it's as an advisor or as a mentor type role. The help and support is there for you. Yeah. But with most types of support like we offer at the Hearts Growth Hub and at Wenta, you have to go looking for it and ask for it. Unfortunately, we don't often spend time chasing you guys to say that. So good luck with your businesses if we don't see you again. Thank you for being part of this session today. And please complete the poll if you can see that on your screen. And I look forward to seeing some of you again in the future. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you, everybody. Cheers. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.